Welcome back, guys. Jenny here at Health Luminary. Today on the vlog, I'd like to talk about, things that we do that may be preventing us from thriving and living the life that we want. And these are just my observations throughout the years. So I'd like to give you my 2 cents in the matter and share with you my thoughts. After all, we're here to learn from one another. So the first point that I would like to make, I get asked this question a lot by friends and family, even in the past and especially now. So, and that is, why should I invest in organic, fresh fruits, and vegetables, and, grass-fed meats and all that kind of stuff? They're more expensive than the conventional ones. And it's a valid question, and it's true, they're definitely more expensive. So, my answer to that has always been the same, and it's just really simple, and that is the grass-fed and organic ones are just far better in quality than the conventional kinds. So with grain-fed animals, their living conditions are questionable because what a lot of these farmers will do is they will jam pack them in feedlots. That's where they live, and there's a lot of crowding and there's not a lot of room and space for the animals to move around. One animal gets sick, the rest of them gets infected, and so oftentimes they were given antibiotics, and then on top of the antibiotics they were also given hormones to accelerate their growth. Okay, that's mostly their living conditions, and they don't get the opportunity to go out and just be animals and graze on grassland and thrive from the sun. They don't get a lot of that for the better part of the day. They're mostly indoor animals, and then their main food source as well is mostly made of corn or soy, which are both, by the way, genetically modified organisms. That's going to be on another vlog. So that's mostly the factors involved with grain-fed animals. Now, grass-fed, it's really simple. They get to act like animals. They get to live in their natural environment, and they get to graze on grass and eat grass for the most part, and they get to thrive from the sun. They get a lot of sunshine. And so when that happens, when you change those variables, the nutrient composition in these animals are affected and they change. So as far as nutrition are concerned, with grass-fed animals, when it comes to the fat content, they're actually less. They have less total fat than grain-fed animals, and the ratios of the omega fatty acids in grass-fed animals are actually more balanced than that of grain-fed. With grain-fed, there's a much higher omega-6, but with which omega-6 can cause inflammation. It's just the way it is, especially when it's out of balance with the omega-3s and the 9s. So with grass-fed, their omega-3s are far much higher than the grain-fed animals. So I think it's about 5 times more than grain-fed. And then the CLA, also the conjugated linoleic acid in grass-fed, is twice more than that of grain-fed. And when it comes to the minerals, grass-fed definitely has more of the iron, zinc, potassium, sodium, and even selenium. So those are just some things to think about and consider. And I'm not saying that grain-fed animals are not nutritious at all. Of course, they still have some nutrition. Like I told you, they just have less nutrition composition compared to grass-fed. So anyway, and then when it comes to organic fruits and vegetables, with organic fruits, they're grown without pesticides, definitely have more minerals and vitamins compared to just regular fruits and vegetables that were laced with pesticides. Okay, there are some I would like to say that there are some fruits and vegetables that you don't have to get organic. You can get away with just buying them conventionally. And those fruits are actually going to be, you can head on over to my website for this particular vlog post, and I will give you a reference of what those, what those fruits and vegetables are. Okay, what I would like to address as well is that if budget is limited, budget is a factor. You don't have to change overnight. This is not going to happen overnight to make these changes. Changing one thing is still far better than not doing anything at all. And you can start with investing in meats that are not given antibiotics or hormones. However, they're still being fed some grains. But at least with the other kind, you're not getting the hormones and antibiotics, because you don't really want that in your system, so you can do it that way. Make that change and adjust to it and see how you feel, and then maybe later on you can make another change. So the change doesn't have to be drastic, because if the budget is limited, I can certainly understand that it's going to take a while for anyone to adjust to something new, right? So the next one that I would like to bring up is being on someone else's diet when the diet is not right for you. I think we need to consider, and we need to start thinking that there's not one diet fits all. So we have to respect biochemical individuality. Everybody reacts to food differently. Okay, so I'll give you a personal example here. Back in 2010, we all know that avocados are good for you, right? It's healthy, and it's true, it's a healthy food. And in 2010, when I ran a food sensitivity test, avocado came up as, moderately reactive to me. So even though it's healthy, I had to eliminate it from my diet for at least 3 months. Okay, so even though avocado is good, maybe it's probably not good for the next person. So just because the diet that's working for you, it may not work for another person, because we're all reacting to food differently. We react to stress differently. We have different biochemical reactions. So we have to respect our individuality in this diet concept. Okay, so I'll give you some of my recommendations and just my tips. The kind of diet that's good for you is one that doesn't give you inflammation, and just making sure that for the most part you're eating real food instead of fake and processed. Okay, but also on top of that, there's 3 questions that you need to answer for yourself to see if the diet is working for you. First one, after every meal, you have to make sure that, did it satiate you? Did it actually fulfill your hunger? If you're hungry again within an hour of eating, then obviously something is not right about that. Something is missing in your diet. Okay, if you're not fulfilled, if you're especially when you're having cravings, sweet cravings or salty cravings, then there's something in the food that's not fulfilling your nutritional needs. Okay, the second one is, does it give you energy? Okay, we need energy. The food that we're eating is fuel so that we can perform all the activities that we do on a daily basis, whether it be working out, going to work, whatever, taking care of our kids, family, laundry, whatever. So we have to do all those things. If we have to do all those things in a day, right? So the food that we're eating has to support us in order for us to perform all those tasks. Okay? If you find yourself losing energy during the day, So most likely the food that you ate didn't give you the energy that you needed. Okay? And thirdly, the third one that you have to ask yourself is that how did the food make you feel? Did it give you a feeling of a good sense of well-being? Did it leave you being peaceful? Did you feel alive? You have to feel alive. Whenever you eat something, it has to make you feel like you can tackle the world, like you're alive. You're awakened. Okay? That's how food is supposed to be. If not, then maybe it's time to reevaluate your diet and then adjust. I actually like the way Dr. Terry Walls puts it, and that is study the science and then adjust. And I love that. Do some self-experimentation. See if it works out for you. And the third point that I wanna make, this is, I think, is very important, and one that I've been noticing a lot of, and that is there is a tendency for some folks to surrender their health in the hands of another person. We have to take an active participatory role in our own health. This is the vessel that we're in. This is our body. Nobody knows your body as well as you do, So take ownership of it. Okay, this is for this lifetime. This is it. And if somebody tells you that no, you don't have dominion over your own health, or doesn't allow you to take that active role, you may want to run the other way and take a second opinion. Okay, I think it's important that we take responsibility and take account of our own health. Nobody's gonna do it for us, and no one can feel the pain that anyone is going through but that person. So anyways, just this is something I tell even my own test clients in my FDN program. I learn a lot from them because truly and honestly, as a practitioner or soon to be practitioner, I will never know the kind of pain that my clients are going through, but they do. They understand their own pain, so I ask, and I allow them to tell me that. I give them the time to just tell me what's going on, because that story is important. You have, as a person, if you're going to a practitioner or your doctor or whatever, I just believe that you have to be able to tell your story to that person, your whole story, because all your stories is contributing either to the decline of your health or the uplifting of your health. Okay, so, and then the last one that I wanna tell you, and this one is my pet peeve. And I used to hear this a lot in my early 20s, and and this is something people often told me, who happens to be a lot older than me at the time. So, and they tell me that, before you hit 30, somebody actually told me this, you will be fat, and pretty much old age you will get sick. So be pretty much expect that, is what they often tell me. That used to bug me. I'm sorry, guys. If this, I don't believe it. First of all, it's not true. I happen to have met people in their 70s or 60s that are thriving, crushing life, full of energy, active. Seriously, you just have to go out there. My husband and I went to Puerto Rico for our honeymoon, and I met this guy who's 70 years old, even though he doesn't look 70, and he's teaching Roomba. And I thought, wow, that's so refreshing and admirable to see. I like the way how T. Harv Eker, the author of Secret Minds of a Millionaire, I like the way he puts it. Your inner world creates your outer world. Okay? So if you got whatever you're putting in your head is what you're actually outputting in the world around you. So I'm just going to leave it like that. But I don't believe that you have to get sick just because you're getting older. That's not true. There are some things that you can do now, or we can do today, that will actually help us thrive in the future. Okay, so that's all my observations. Let me know what you think about them. Leave some comments below. Again, all of the references and information that you will need will be on my website for this particular vlog post. I will leave the link to that in the description. So, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you would like to get more of my tips, and especially when it comes to me talking about functional nutrition, about our health, subscribe to my email on my website at www.healthluminary.com. So anyway, guys, I'm out. Thanks for hanging out with me, and you guys have a great weekend, okay? And I will see you next time. Bye.